always from the heart of the city, and now on demand 24/7 on the CHFI website. This is the soundtrack to a June bride. And I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers around the world on the internet. The date was June 2nd, 1886, that Grover Cleveland became the first U.S. president to get married in the White House. President Bush's daughter got married just before he left office. She decided against a White House wedding for a whole host of reasons. But it would have been a spectacular ceremony on the grounds, especially with the Rose Garden nearby. A beautiful June bride this hour with Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. RyanDan like the sun and Daniel Bedingfield. And if you're not the one. To begin with, some dates. June 20th, 1987. Johnny Carson married for the 4th time. In June 1997, Glenn Scotty Wolfe died of heart disease. He was 88 and was married a total of 29 times. At the time, he held the record as the world's most married man. Also, during the month of June, some years back, Moses Alexander, 93, married 103-year-old Frances Tompkins in Bata, New York. Both were found dead in their wedding bed the next morning. June 12, 1903, Niagara Falls was incorporated as a city, and honeymooners have been forever grateful. June 12 also marks the date for the Portuguese to honor St. Anthony, the patron saint of lovers. On June 25, 1976, the CN Tower officially opened in Toronto, and ever since, romantics have loved the view. If you're a former June bride, or if you're looking forward to walking down the aisle sometime this month or in years to come, a program just for you this hour with Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Lovers and Other Strangers and a few classic wedding songs from CHFI.com. The Captain and Tennille with the wedding song, and Luther Vandross, Here and Now. According to L.E. Howell Glover, in Dame Coetzee Book of Novel Entertainments for Every Day in the Year, published in 1907, was this: Merry when June roses blow, over land and sea you'll go. Their own wedding took place Christmas Eve on the second floor of a dimly lit Chinese restaurant called Sammy Hong's. The owner, Sammy, agreed to rent it for that night, figuring he'd have little other business. Eddie took what cash he had left from the army and spent it on the reception. Roast chicken and Chinese vegetables and port wine and a man with an accordion. The chairs for the ceremony were needed for the dinner. So once the vows were taken, the waiters asked the guests to rise, then carried the chairs downstairs to the tables. The accordion man sat on a stool. Years later, Marguerite would joke that the only thing missing from their wedding were the bingo cards. Unquote. An excerpt from The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, published in '03 by Hyperion, the #1 New York Times bestseller. We all have our own special memories of that day, some that even outlast the marriage itself, others that follow you through your long life together and beyond. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Jason Mraz and I'm yours, in sync, and this I promise you, and Marc Cohn with a true companion. Once again, I quote, "People say they find love as if it were an object hidden by a rock. But love takes many forms, and it is never the same for any man and woman. What people find then is a certain love. And Eddie found a certain love with Marguerite. A grateful love, a deep but quiet love, one that he knew above all else was irreplaceable. Once she'd gone, he'd let the day go still. He put his heart to sleep. Now, here she was again, as young as the day they were wed." Unquote. Another excerpt from The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom, published in '03 by Hyperion, the #1 New York Times bestseller. Again, I quote, "All weddings," she said happily. "This was my choice. A world of weddings behind every door. Oh, Eddie, it never changes. When the groom lifts the veil, when the bride accepts the ring, the possibilities you see in their eyes, it's the same around the world. They truly believe their love and their marriage is going to break all the records." She smiled. "Do you think we had that?" Eddie didn't know how to answer. "We had an accordion player," he said. Unquote. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Krista Burgh remembering in a country churchyard, and the Beatles remembering Eleanor Rigby. Lovers and Other Strangers from iTunes and CHFI.com. Robert Fulghum, in the book From Beginning to End, The Rituals of Our Lives, published by Random House, wrote, "Who is to say what shall have lasting value? My fiancé didn't want a diamond ring. As a joke, I bought a simple ring with a knock-your-socks-off stone. The best Woolworths had. $2.98. I put it in a box from a fancy jeweler and gave it to her on our wedding day. She was nonplussed. But when I gave her the receipt so she could return it, she all but bowled me over with a laughing embrace. She still loves that stupid ring 23 years later, as if it were real. And it is real, isn't it?" Robert Fulghum from the book From Beginning to End, The Rituals of Our Lives, published by Random House. Lovers and Other Strangers from CHFI.com. Bob Carlisle with Butterfly Kisses, Atlantic Starr Always, and Alicia Keys, If I Ain't Got You. This comes originally from Christine Terhune Herrick, writing in The Modern Hostess in 1908. The bride's health is drunk standing, after which each man breaks his glass, ostensibly that it may never be put to less honorable use. Unquote. What a romantic tribute to every single bride, no matter when her special day is. You can post your memories of that day in my blog at chfi.com. I'm Don Jackson with Lovers and Other Strangers. Good night, sweet dreams. I'm Don Jackson.